All right, so here goes another channel. Actually, I'm new on this channel. It's called Tales from the Streets. Quite some interesting stories on this channel, some real life issues. This kid right here, I think, is on some type of drug, popping pills and all that kind of craziness. A lot of kids doing those things these days, and it's kind of sad, you know, when you see the stories. But it's also real life, and it's also something that we're all going through. I always tell, let's not put ourselves, let's remove the caps, okay? Let's not put ourselves on the pedestal, ever. Let's try not to do that, ever, because when you do that, you create a massive blind spot for you. So always, I always tell people this, right? Always, you can only see 180-degree view in front of you. At most, you're probably seeing less, right? You're probably seeing this, right? But let's just assume you have a wider view with your eyes, and you can see. I can see the lighting on the right hand side of my head, right? And I can see a blink of it, but I can't see anything in the 180-degree behind my head. I can't, right? So there's always a 360 view, right? And there's always that 180-degree that I can't see and you can't see. But when you put yourself on a pedestal and you start to act like oh yeah, I will never be on drugs because my family, the way they raised me, I would just, if you start to talk like that in life, you're creating a bigger blind spot for yourself. So your blind spot is now going like this, right? So your view, instead of 180 degrees, is now closing in. You're going straight line. All you can see is what in front of you. Your viewpoint is always just straightforward based on your religion, your culture, everything you know, and you have zero empathy or compassion for other people's experiences, essentially. And then what you're doing is that you have a big ass blind spot. It's gonna hurt you if that's how you look at life. You should always look at life as there's some things that I just can't see. Okay, I need to change my chair because it's starting to make noise, right? There's just some things that I can't see. You should always lead life like that, right? And that's why I always preach active listening. Active listening means you're authentically there to learn. You're talking to your wife, a business partner, they're saying something to you, especially when it seems like you disagree. Disagree can conflict with or can be interwoven together with confusion, right? You're confused, you don't understand. So what does that have to do with this topic? This guy is on drugs, but he's speaking like eloquently, a very smart kid, but somehow he cannot help himself. He can't get his butt to rehab. He knows exactly what he needs to do. We do that when it comes to food. We know exactly how we need to eat, the relationship we have with food, right? We know exactly how we need to handle our money, but guess what happens? Sometimes we fall short. Why? Because we're humans, we're not God, right? So what's the solution? We know exactly how often we need to show up to training. We know, like for example, I have the 11 days challenge to flipping houses nationwide. You know exactly you're supposed to show up every day, but somehow life is getting in the way. That's what we call it, right? Then we say it as well, right? And life is just getting in the way, right? But frankly, it's a matter of discipline. Okay, how do I know? Because I've also been a victim of my own personal lack of discipline. That's how I know. Okay, my relationship with food personally is right now, it's not the best. I'm 5'10" height and I'm 200 pounds. I need to drop 20. I look good when you look at me, but I feel like I can feel a little bit lighter and a little bit more active, right? I know exactly what I need to do, but it's hard sometimes. It's just so many things going on. So if I can reflect back and look at this kid and he's speaking, there's so many people that speak so eloquently, but they're full of shit. I'm sorry to say. Like sometimes I get on Clubhouse, which I get on once a week, twice a week sometimes. I start to hear people talk and they start that conversation. You're like, this is a smart person. They're going to say something correct. And then they go like 3 sentences and they go 10 sentences and like, oh shit, he's full of shit too, or she's full of shit too, right? There are a lot of people that are very smart, but they're not wise. There's zero wisdom. Why? Because they never listen. When I say listen, not just listen to respond. Listen just to understand with zero intentions to respond. Right? That's one of the things I love on my channel where it is right now. I don't get a lot of comments because once it starts to get big, people start to just run their mouth and they don't think they're just ready to reflect and react and just hurt you and hit you below the belt, whatever they have to do to make themselves feel better. They're never really listening. Not just you. All of us. It's a bad habit. All of us have that bad habit. And we need to just continue to put extra effort into, hey, sometimes I don't need to talk. Let me just see what they're saying. Let me process it. Let me take 3 days to figure it out. Let me watch a couple more videos. Let me see. I tell people that you have to read the books 10 to 15 times. Why? Because there are just times that you're going to pick up new things when you lean in even further. That's just how it works. I tell people, watch this video a couple of times. If there's any training video I put out there, watch it a couple of times, because you're going to pick up new things every single time. Why? Because naturally, we don't listen. Naturally, we like to hear ourselves talk more, like what I'm doing right now, right? Than actually listening. So this is one of the things, right? For example, I'm supposed to spend 5 minutes, just talk about what this topic is, and then I'll go into the comment and listen to what people are saying, then I'll respond. Why am I going in the comments and not what the actual video says? Because that's when you really see people's mind. You want to see what people are talking about. You want to see how slow people can be. Go in the comments. That's where the entertainment is. And that's why I love this segment that I'm doing with the happy hour. So he says he barely looks in the car. Now, the video is actually an inspirational one. So like one other video, it's an inspirational one. So I think it's pretty cool that people are encouraging him. He barely looks in the camera, but you can see the pain in his eyes. This is what I meant earlier by, are you reading between the lines? Can you read when somebody wishes their ex-wife for their marriage to collapse, right? Can you read the pain in between those words, right? Can you see the pain? We all have the ability to, unless we're not caught up in the emotions too, when we feel like we can relate with the underdog, right? And then we lose our own sense of thinking too, right? But now in this case, people have empathy for him, which I can appreciate. You can hear in his voice, this poor human is lonely child on the inside, just needs somebody to believe in them. I love you, Junior. Thank you still for being alive and showing us your life. Yeah. Man, I pray for his sake. A lot of people just praying for him. You can see the way the kid carries himself. He's ashamed. Yeah, a lot of time when people get defensive, like the way he's reacting is kind of calm because I guess there's a program, they're shooting the program. But some people will overreact. Like they say, get out of my way, like get out of my life. Stop bothering me about rehab. Like how everyone react to this can either be fight or flight, right? Some people will fight you. Some people will go hide somewhere and be shameful. Both of them are actually shame, okay? They're both coming from insecure place, right? There's no need to fight if you truly believe in what you're doing. That's one of the reasons when I really look at DMX, right, the rapper that died not too long ago, I can respect him because there's a certain level of confidence when he's talking about his drug addiction, but there's a certain level of confidence that comes from a place that is ready to impact the world, no matter how short that life is going to be. And I can appreciate that, you know. But his loved ones will not appreciate that. They want him to be around longer and healthy, though. They don't want him to be a baggage for everyone else, right? So all of this, why am I saying all of this? The point I'm saying here is that there's no right and wrong or black and white. It's about life does have consequences. That's a fact of life. There are consequences, right? But also there are circumstances. Life don't care like that. Life doesn't care if you are always perfect and you get it right all the time. Life don't give a shit. It doesn't. So how do you prepare for a life that doesn't care? It's not about how old you are, right? But also there are consequences. There are certain ways, to a large extent, there are consequences. But there's also luck, right? You also get lucky, but there are also consequences. There are also, it's a function of a whole lot of other things. So what would you do with life? You just move with some grace. Give everyone grace. Start with yourself. When you judge yourself so hard, you tend to judge other people. Let's not wait until we see a kid in drug. Let's give grace when it comes to the ladies, right? As men, like let's give grace. The same thing, ladies. Don't walk around town talking about all men are cheaters. If you say that, you're gonna be right. You're gonna attract a bunch of cheaters. That's because you have the right to be right. Your vibe, your energy, everything about you is gonna attract exactly that. How? I don't know. Remember, I don't know it all too, but I've seen way too many examples to know that that's exactly how it goes. You attract who you are, period.